Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're joined now by Chris Level, Texas Tech football sideline reporter and host of Locked On Texas Tech. Chris, good morning.
Gentlemen, how we doing on this lovely Tuesday?
Good. How are your podcast numbers? Through the roof? Got some recent headlines helping you out? Traffic way up?
It's, in our business, whatever we're involved with, you just, you react to news, it's definitely been a circus around here for, 6 weeks. But we do drama well here. I mean, you're talking to somebody that dealt with Coach Leach getting fired years and years ago in a courtroom, ironically enough. And this is just the next chapter in drama in Lubbock, Texas. But an interesting day yesterday for sure.
Now, this is a question that can't be answered with any degree of factuality, which isn't a word, but you get the point, that I'm going to ask it anyway. What percentage do you think would you put on Game 3 of Sorsby being the starting quarterback for Texas Tech in the 26 football season?
Yeah, there's obviously layers to that. I mean, based on the court and the legal part of this, I would say 100%. I don't think there's any, like this was it, as far as like affecting his eligibility for the 2026 season. I've asked about the appeals process. I've tried to, obviously I've got the documentation yesterday that the trial has been set for February the 8th, because based on the judge's ruling, he's ruling, I don't want to take this young man away from what I think would help him. You can roll your eyes at that or not. That's what he ruled on. And it was a judge from Fort Worth, Texas that replaced the original judge. And then I knew that this case wouldn't be heard in January because Brendan Sorsby's local attorney, again, as part of this legal team, his local attorney is a guy named Dustin Burrows, and Dustin Burrows actually happens to be the Speaker of the House in the state of Texas, and they're in session in January, and you can't have a trial without your local attorney present. So, the earliest it could be was in early February, which is what it was set for. Now, is there something else here? Does Texas Tech, or are they allowed to come in and punish further? Or does Brendan Sorsby say, man, I just don't know if I want to go through all this? But everybody's they've already kind of played their hand with a lot of this. And the Texas Tech supported this young man. And knowing that this is the reaction, and if he doesn't get the injunction granted, then you shake his hand and wish him luck, and away you go. That's what also it's worth pointing out, like all the reaction, the anger and all that. Like, where was that? Like, I just think nobody thought he was going to win the injunction,
Right.
And
I'd agree with that.
He did, it's like I'm gonna find religion, and I'm gonna really get really mad and angry and all that. So anyway, I don't know if I know the answer to that. I don't know if there's a next step here, and what that would be.
Just wondering about the Big 12, if they could do anything.
Great question. I think Brett Yormark is in kind of a no-win situation as it relates to what he's allowed to do and you guys know this. I mean, like neither one of the schools in your backyard are on Texas Tech schedule this year, but this boycotting of that's not how this works. Like the media rights holders are going to say, no, you want this big check that I mean, that's then, and everybody needs that money, including Texas Tech. So I don't think that's a real thing. Now the SEC and the Big Ten stuff, there could be some truth to that we could see play out, and that could have some lasting ramifications. But yeah, I believe there's an athletic director's call in the next day or so. There's a president's call later this week, and I don't know where we go from there, and if there's a happy medium there. I don't know, because short of him being declared ineligible, I just don't know if anybody's going to be satisfied with any sort of further suspension or whatever. And people have asked, how did the 2-game thing come out? Well, in the hearing, Sorsby's representation pointed to an Indiana volleyball coach that was suspended for 30% of his season that had bet over $325,000. You can Google it. This is the NCAA's precedent. Like they said, we know you did this. You're caught. It was a much larger dollar figure than what was reported for Brendan Sorsby. We're going to suspend you. What was the equivalent of 10 games? So I think Sorsby's legal team, it was a bit of a negotiation. Like, hey, we're going to pitch 2 games. Maybe you're going to say half a season. Let's settle on 4. I don't know. That's kind of what. And so, but they never countered. They were just like, we don't think he should ever play. And so that's kind of where that. And so the judge basically was like, we're going to accept this imposed penalty. And that's kind of where that came from. But I think that's why they proposed because he mentioned this case and this precedent repeatedly in the courtroom a week ago yesterday.
So there's the official levels of power, and you talk about, February there could be an appeal, right? Then there's the unofficial way things work, which, to your point, one example would be the right holders like, hey, you got to play those games if you want this check. What about Texas State politics? Cody Campbell is the chair of the Board of Regents for Texas Tech. Who do they answer to as far as governor, Texas State legislature, if anyone? I don't know. Maybe he's just emperor. How does that work, and who might put their thumb on the scale there, if anyone?
Well, yeah, I mean, Greg Abbott is the governor, and like you've got Texas Tech people, Texas A&M people that are all heavily involved in. Obviously Senator Cruz is from the state of Texas. He's one of the ones that is trying to get this bill passed that creates some rules and a salary cap and all the things. And he's got ties to all 3 institutions and is trying to be supportive of all the institutions in the state. And which there's 10 to 12 Division I institutions in the state of Texas. So I don't know if state politics will play into this or not. That's a good question for me. But there's no one. I'm sure that most people would tell you that University of Texas, because of where it's located and because of their wielding power, that they would have maybe the most say in the state government. But Coach Sarkisian is been complaining about Texas Tech's schedule and all those things recently. So there's just been a lot going on here, man. I mean, it's like just pick up the whatever bucket of drama you want to play with, and there's plenty to get into there.
I appreciate a lot of what Cody Campbell has been able to do with his reform, especially when he talks about saving these other sports, women's sports, and the non-revenue sports, and wanting to go about with TV rights and all that stuff. I know he's got another op-ed in USA Today, and so he has, and we've had him on the show. And he has been a leader. But then I'm reading some of the stuff, like Georgia comes out and says, we're not going to play Texas Tech. And then he tweets out, hey, Gronk, how many Georgia football players have been arrested in the last year? And that really comes off as a fanboy. And once you do that, I think it hurts what you're trying to accomplish over here when you're are you a fan? Or are you trying to, that type of fan stuff would be from somebody who has a handle that is anonymous, right? And he just pops off. How much do you think that his going after some of this stuff, it seems to me it's beneath him, damages his credibility in the big picture of the good that he's trying to accomplish?
It's a fair criticism. Yeah. I think he's wearing many different hats here. And yeah, it's hard to, and we all do this to a certain extent. I mean, there's difference between being a broadcaster and then a radio host. Like those are kind of the same job, but they're very different. And like, which hat am I wearing on at this particular time? And I think that's a fair criticism. And I think Cody's coming at it from it's just, I think, as I mentioned earlier, that there's a lot of folks that are saying a lot of things that are deciding to, this is the hill they're dying on, and yet there's lots of things going on their own campuses or have gone on or whatever. But I mean, it's fair to say you can't really do one and then do this too. Like, which one is it? And I certainly understand why you would be saying that.
Do you think that I think people are social animals and people don't like to be isolated for very long? This could be pretty isolating for Texas Tech. And the Big 12 may not be able to do everything they want to do. The broadcast partners may say, hey, you got to play these games. But nonetheless, it could be pretty isolating. We'll see how many leagues decide they don't want to play Texas Tech and how long they stick with that. How much of a stomach does Texas Tech have for putting up with that stuff? Some people might have a little stronger constitution than others.
I would love to know the answer to that question. Because the irony too is that if the Big Ten and the SEC say we're not playing you in all sports, really it affects football the least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see why you say that.
Yeah,
they only need 3 games, and some schools aren't playing a power league anyway. So,
yeah, and you've got the regional opponent, you've got the one group of 5 opponent, then you've got the one game that you're trying to play. I will say that the Texas Tech and USC heavily in discussion about a 2-game series that would start next year, whether that's home or 2 neutral site games, and so that would affect that. I mean, Illinois is supposed to play basketball here in November as part of a home and home. Texas Tech played in Champaign last November, and so there would be some ramifications there. And is this grandstanding? Is this real? Is this somewhere in between? I don't know. And I'm like you guys. I'm curious to see if the heat gets turned up enough to where like you'll bend, and like, what does that look like though? Is this what I talked about earlier? Like what's the move? What's the move that goes, okay, we're good? I mean, I think at some level, some of the damage has been done because they chose to support their player, and everybody's known this, but there was no threat to boycott 2 or 3 weeks ago. It just happened once the injunction was passed. So I don't know. And if you're Texas Tech, it's a fair question to ask aloud. This is a 1-year player. Is this all worth it? But again, I say you kind of already made that decision. So the no scheduling thing, like Nebraska came out, which is also, there's some irony there because Matt Rule and Joey McGuire are very good friends. They talk all the time. Joey's kid worked for Matt at Carolina and at Nebraska. I mean, they go way, way back. But you played Nebraska in softball this past season, which was notable because they were both good, but you haven't played Nebraska in anything in a decade, really. So I just, that I thought that was just interesting for them to kind of, sit back and take the shot. But whatever, everybody's going to do what's best for them, and if that's what they felt they needed to do, then so be it. But that doesn't affect now a Big Ten wide or an SEC wide. Sure, I mean that's I know that your track coach is up in Eugene, Oregon at the national championships right now, and they've got an unbelievable indoor facility here for the indoor season, and tons of the SEC and the Big Ten schools come here for these track meets because the surface is so good. So it would affect some of these sports for sure. But so I don't know if I know what the stomach is like there, or what the move is to say, okay, guys, we get. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know what that looks like. I'm not smart enough to grasp that just yet.
Going more big picture, what does this do to the NCAA? You got a kid who's admitted gambling, and we all know all that stuff. You can go look it up, and they've suspended people, coaches, players, what have you, in the past, and now basically they're being undercut. And what does it mean for the NCAA in terms of their power, and where do we go, rather than if Georgia wants to play Texas Tech in badminton, who really cares? It's a bigger issue, I think, and I'm wondering, what Texas Tech is thinking about that, because essentially the NCAA, which has been losing power, and this is such an important issue with the gambling, when it's been recognized as you can't do it, it virtually renders them powerless.
And I think we already knew that the NCAA was. I mean, they just continue to take losses in the courtroom, and that Cody said something yesterday. About this is the system that everybody's playing by, and I think what he's pointing to is that Vanderbilt won an injunction on a 7th year of eligibility. Alabama basketball won an injunction by playing an NBA player. Ole Miss won an injunction in the courtroom for Trinidad Chambliss, and on and on. And so right. I think where he was coming at it from is like, if we feel like the rules are being misapplied, then you just go to court. But this was Brendan Sorsby's case, but is this the straw that finally breaks the NCAA's back? I mean, they just, and I, after being privy to that hearing last week, it was pretty clear to me, and I still didn't know if this kid was going to win the injunction, but it was pretty clear which legal team was well prepared and which one wasn't, or what wasn't taking it as seriously on some of the things that were argued and the precedents that was set. I mean, basically NCAA just kind of, I don't want to say they mailed it in, but one side felt like, much different than the other, regardless of where you felt on the rules or the case or what the arguments were or whatever. And this is just another long line of losses that the NCAA has taken. So, and that's why I think you're hearing the words collective bargaining, and do we need Congress's help and all these things? Because I know it would surprise people, but Cody Campbell, he wants a salary cap. That's what he feels like is the best thing for college athletics. Right. And whether we get that or not, or is it enforceable? I mean, it remains to be seen.
Well, Northwestern wanted to be declared employees and unionize, and the NCAA told them no. And it's fun to kick the NCAA all around the parking lot and finally to the curb. But the NCAA is the association of all the schools. The NCAA is Texas Tech and Texas and A&M, and it is Ole Miss and Cincinnati and Vanderbilt and Alabama. This is the situation that they've built, each school's built and created. They don't want rules until they apply to them. And we saw this with this new College Sports Commission that was going to enforce a new set of rules for NIL. And then we got a bunch of schools who won't sign it. People think everybody else should be governed, and they don't think they should. And when they don't sign it, I mean, that just speaks loud and clear. You rules for thee, not for thy, or whatever that cliche is. Well, yeah, right, that. I mean, so we can yell at the NCAA all we want, but this is a collection of presidents and athletic directors who are getting exactly what they want. They want the Wild West. They can say they don't, but that's what they're not signing up for when they don't sign.
And I think it's important to note that every school in the Big 12 did sign that CSC, or they signed it, so they were in unison there. But
they signed it because they have less money. The schools that have more money didn't sign it. If you follow the money.
Yeah, well, no, I think it was all 16 teams signed it. I think.
I'm saying of the Power 4 schools.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. So, Yeah, again, I don't know where we all go from here or anything like that. I don't know if this was there's, I mean, I remember, I'll take you guys back to like, say, December. Scott Drew signed this player, James Najee, that played, in the NBA, and he was, traded away and all these things, and everybody lost their mind. I remember Tom Izzo coming out and going, "What are we doing? Like, this isn't the same sport that I recognize." I mean, Tom Izzo, I think we would all agree, is kind of a face of college basketball. And that was just the latest thing. And now everybody's like moved on from that and forgotten that even happened, because the kid wasn't really as good as I think everybody thought he might be. And now this is the latest incident that's going to ruin college sports and all that. But at some point, maybe there's some rules and enforceable, and everybody gets together. I don't know if this is it or not, but I guess we're all going to find out at some point soon.
From a football standpoint, aside from all this other stuff, when will Hammond be ready? Because I sort of think he's not that much. Will Sorsby's not that much better than Will.
Yeah, I think Will is a mid September target date. I don't know at what. I mean, there's a difference between I'm cleared and I'm healthy versus I'm ready to play in a meaningful game. I think those are two different things. But I think that he's clearly ahead of schedule. I just don't know if we can pin down yet. And we still have a ways to go on trying to figure out, is there a setback? Does he get further ahead of schedule? How much does he trust it? I mean, all those things. I think anybody that was playing quarterback for Texas Tech this year, whether it was Sorsby or Hammond or Kirk Francis or Lloyd Jones, they did not have to be Superman back there. I mean, there's a lot on this team. There's a lot back. They don't have to be great. Maybe have to be great some, and in certain situations, but not overwhelmingly great for this team to win plenty of games. That's just what they've kind of put together here. So, but yeah, I'm as curious as anybody to see kind of where this thing goes, because we try to talk about it every which way we possibly could on the hypotheticals, and I just don't know if we're there yet. But yeah, Will's a great kid, and hopefully he's back sooner than later, because like I think he's been talking to Patrick Mahomes often, because they're both going through the same thing. And Patrick hurt his ACL in early December, but got surgery on it the next day, which is abnormal, because a lot of time you do what they call prehab and let the swelling come down and all that. But the Chiefs, they sent him to Dallas, and I think he's already kind of running around and doing some of that stuff. And so we'll see how quickly he is. But they've been kind of going at this with the same timetable a little bit, I think.
I don't think Sorsby's going to end up playing, but let's suppose that he does. What do you think of his mental makeup if every time they go on the road, he's getting booed in every stadium nonstop from the second he comes out for warm-ups? Does he flourish under that? Does that destroy him?
Yeah, I think, well, one, the road trips this year are not daunting in that, I mean, Colorado, Waco, Stillwater, and Cincinnati, Ohio, and Corvallis, Oregon. Those are the 5 road trips. The Cincinnati game was going to be interesting no matter what. Everybody was going to get booed. If Sorsby was playing, if he is playing, if he's not playing, there's just a lot there. And I go back to Indiana and Cincinnati's involvement in this whole thing is fascinating to me. I don't know if there's ramifications there. They knew, they didn't know. Why didn't they know? What was jeopardized? This integrity word being thrown around, all that stuff. But beside the point. But yeah, if he plays, I think it's very curious to see how he handles that. Because it's a lot. It's going to be a lot, and he's going to have thick skin. There's no doubt. But I think you were already kind of trending toward being the villain anyway, not just him, but your team, your program, whatever. And it is what it is. I think they're basically kind of just like, yeah. I mean, what I've learned in this is that I said this to you guys earlier. If you weren't any good, I just don't think the reaction would have been anywhere near what it is. If you were middle of the pack, power league school, and the player wasn't any good, I just don't know the reaction would be anywhere near what it is. But you're supposed to be good, and you're taking some shots from some of these big name schools out there because they've always ruled the roost for the last 30 years. So, and whether that is true or not, that's what I choose to. I find that interesting, but that's what I truly believe. I just don't know if you would, and maybe they wouldn't have defended the kid to begin with being Texas Tech if you weren't supposed to be any good. Maybe they would have been like, yeah, this isn't really, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? But if he plays, yeah, it's certainly going to be worth monitoring. And I'm curious to see how whoever they is, the PR firm, his people, the Texas Tech, whoever, how they decide to handle this publicly. I mean, he sent out a short statement, but at some point he's going to have to get in front of a camera and a microphone and, what's that going to look like? What's that going to sound like? How transparent is he? You can't go hide him in the corner. I just don't think that's what would work. So it'll be interesting to see how that part plays out too.
Well, Chris, we'll let you go. We appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us and trying to figure out what's next.
Hey, thanks, boys. I appreciate you guys having me on. Y'all take care of Jake, man. He's good people.
Chris Lovell, Texas Tech football sideline reporter and host of Locked On Texas Tech.
Yeah, not that good people, though. He's okay.
That would have been a perfect time to play Bleep Canned, but you'd only do that to me. You wouldn't do that to yourself.
Yeah,
but think about it, Yak. That would have been funny.
He's okay. I mean,
Bleep Canned!
Nothing special. Bleep Canned! As a human being, I mean, he's all right.
More on Texas Tech and Sorsby coming up with R.J. Young, National College Football writer and analyst for Fox Sports at the top of the hour. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Turn it up. Let's go.
It's a new era for sports radio in Utah. This is the all-new KSL Sports Zone. As always, DJ and PK kick off your mornings from 6 to 10. Then introducing the newest addition to the KSL Sports Zone. The coach, Tim Lacombe, joins Scotty G every day from 10 to 2. And as you wrap up your day, Jake Scott and Ben Anderson are there with the best sports talk in Utah from 2 to 6. Live and local, all day, every day. Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is live, on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. KSLSports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to Jake and Ben for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. All right, you think anything different after hearing Chris Lovell there, Texas Tech football sideline reporter? More questions than answers, trying to figure out the future.
Yeah, I think we're trying to, some people equate this with other stuff that isn't gambling, but it's gambling. And gambling is separate. So you can't lump it all together as far as, well, what are other schools? What are their skeletons?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same.
If they're not gambling skeletons, don't tell me about them.
And you can tell me about them, but don't compare them.
Right. Well, with Georgia, it was the speeding. We're trying to make this safe for college athletics, and the shot fired back is, well, maybe your guys weren't speeding all over Atlanta, endangering everybody on every freeway.
And that should be taken seriously.
Right, and that's a serious point, and and now back to the gambling.
Right. Yeah. And so
just because that's not being taken seriously or seriously enough that it's stopping doesn't mean we're not going to talk about the quarterback at Texas Tech, because we're going to talk about the quarterback at Texas Tech.
Yeah. I think they got in a little over their heads, and the national blowback, they supported them, and he's trying to make it, what's his name, Chris, is trying to make it sound like, to an extent, well, yeah, we supported our guy.
You're supposed to support your guy.
But it's gambling.
Did they really think they were going to win, or did they think in the end the judge is going to rule against them and then everybody's just going to go on? Because I think that's what college sports in general thought. They weren't taking a lot of heat for supporting their guy.
I think it's the sports in general.
Because you're supposed to support your guy, but they were all counting on the court decision to go the way they wanted / expected, and then there'd be no blowback because Sorsby's not playing. He's off to the NFL. They'll declare a supplemental draft. He's supposed to be a first-rounder, but he's going to go later in the supplemental draft because all those NFL teams are thinking, well, he's going to get suspended for at least a year here. Why would I use a high pick on him? And that's kind of how I expected this to go.
I think you said it best when you said, what's good for thee is not good for thy.
Whatever that was, yeah.
Rules for thee, but not for thy. You mean rules for thee, but not for
that was
me.
deep.
That was eventually what I meant. When you straighten me out, despite the fact you're a below average human being.
PK straightened you out first, I will say that.
I expected you to straighten me out.
But that was deeper.
Yeah,
you took it to a deeper level. You start talking like in Divinish codes.
Divinish codes? That's like Da Vinci codes?
Of divinity, thee and thou and thy.
Yeah,
I bowed my head and closed my eyes for a second.
I'm a plain-spoken guy. That's why I bitch.
Amen.
Amen. I need nothing more complicated than that.
So I don't think that you can equate, well, look at what they're doing. Everybody's not speeding here.
Yeah.
In a metaphor. And so
I did not know about
the gambling, and that always is separate.
I did not know about the NCAA letting this one coach off over here with 30%. I really, going through this, couldn't think of anything with less than a 1-year suspension. And a 1-year suspension for a guy who's already played 4 years. 1 year Sorsby played, he barely played, so with the new redshirt rule, I think he skated on that. That's why he's got 1 year of eligibility left. I just figure he gets a 1-year suspension, and he's off to the NFL. Because he's out of college eligibility. But the judge threw everybody a curveball.
It's interesting that Texas Tech wants to die on this hill.
Do they really?
So far they do.
So far they do. Agreed. I'm not convinced they do. Maybe they do. I would still find that surprising.
I don't think he'll play.
I agree. Yeah. I don't think they really want to die on that hill, and there'll be a ton of blowback.
Yeah. And Cody Campbell's got to be careful because you can't come off as fanboy and then be this distinguished shepherd of college sports.
He doesn't want to be laughed at. And there may not even be debate.
They're going after Georgia. Well, how many guys? That's BYU Utah anonymous Ute fan number 1 has a Twitter handle and does that.
He wants to be
That's
taken
nonsense.
He wants to be taken seriously,
and
but
he should
risks,
be. But don't do this other stuff.
But if he does this other stuff, he risks being laughed at, mocked, and ridiculed.
You're a fanboy.
And he wants to be taken seriously.
And I think he should because I think he's got some good ideas.
But that's where Chris's analogy, or maybe it was yours, but well, he is trying to wear multiple hats here.
Well, he shouldn't.
And that's not going to fly.
Don't be a fanboy.
Right, it's not going to fly.
Step back.
Yeah. There's enough people mad enough about this. Follow the money. You always say, follow the money. The gambling has a chance to jeopardize the credibility of a lot of games that don't have anything to do with Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And so somebody's
ruin the sport.
Somebody sitting at West Virginia or San Diego State or ASU or Florida International are like, whoa, this could be a problem for us. And we're not even playing them.
Right.
Because everybody knows their kids could easily hop on the phone and do what Sorsby did. It's so accessible. Heck, it might be happening right now. There could be a kid placing a bet on a Stanley Cup game tonight or an NBA game Wednesday night.
Yeah, and then it's going to go.
Yeah.
Gamblers or bookie-type people are going to come at you, loan sharks, and then you're going to get in over your head. Then you have some inside information. You think, oh, man, I lost these bets over here, but this one is a sure bet because I'm on the inside. And away you go. And you wreck the integrity of the sport, and you ruin it for everybody. So Texas Tech needs to look big picture rather than themselves. Because I don't think that whether Sorsby plays a game or not is going to have much effect on their record this year. And then he's only going to be there 1 year anyway. And who's to say in the 4th game he didn't get hurt?
I did think about that.
It's not worth it.
I did think about Gordon Hayward going to Boston. It was such a big deal. And we're going to watch how he does with the Celtics, and he goes down hurt in the first game. You're a quarterback. You get hit. You can't get up.
Well, yeah, we did it here with Cam Rising. He was You
2
went
years in a
through
row.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then
into a drink cart.
Yeah, in what, the second game? It was a non-conference game, but it was against Baylor.
It was the second game of the year.
Yeah, because I was watching it from a restaurant at a golf course in Texas because I had covered SMU and BYU the night before. And basically he never played again. I realized he came back against the Sun Devils, but he got hurt again. And so you wasted all that time, and then in the process you lost Bryson Barnes. And
he went to Utah State and played well.
Yeah, right. And he would have.
You wouldn't have had a 5 win. You wouldn't have gone 5 and 7 if you had him. He'd won 8 the year before.
And really, like, what's the big deal anyway? Because then there's another season next year and a season after that, and now the Utes are in position to do really well again this year. And so you go into all this stuff. Is it really worth going through all this stuff to get to this point? Doesn't seem like the answer to me is yes.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCoe.
Look, private equity doesn't like to add costs. They like to limit costs because they have a bottom line that they have to hit. I just hate when you've got somebody who has been working in the marketing department forever or who's been a sports information director forever, and they're doing their job and they're busting their butt and they're trying to tell good stories, and those are the guys that are going to get affected.
And to me, it's just a direct response to BYU having all the money they need at their disposal, a built-in way to fund the program. There's nothing about this deal that screams win to me. I don't like the feeling of it. You know, Matt Hayes summed it up best at the end of his article. He said, this is the same Utah athletic department that wanted so badly to push out football coach Kyle Whittingham at the end of a 10-win season, but was willing to pay him $13.5 million over the next 2 years to do so.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's room of choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
DJ PK, you know, a long time ago we were told List Radio is terrible. Don't do it. Now we're watching List Radio. We got List TV over there, and we got List Internet right in front of us. Turns out people really like List, PK. ESPN.com with the list 1 through 68, ranking all the Power 4 football teams.
Yeah, well, we're into June now, and so college football fans, of which we are and which our listeners are, you start whetting your appetite.
And these are futures rankings as well. These include looking ahead.
And also, we're now 1 month from today, I think 1 month from yesterday, less than a month now, was Big 12 Media Days.
Bum, bum, bum.
And I rented my charter. I'll be down there.
Nice.
I don't go with the common folk. Forget that.
The charter, okay.
Expensive, man. I got a credit card. They'll never know.
The future power rankings model. BC and Purdue, 67. BC 68, Purdue 67. That's the bottom of the barrel right there. A lot of the Big 12, the bottom third of the Big 12, Kansas 65, Baylor 64, Iowa State 63.
Well, I think it's really hard to predict a future.
Yeah. With so much coaching movement football. And so much player movement.
Yeah, because
where are you going to be in a year or two?
You only need to go back to the last 2 years, Houston and the Sun Devils in this conference. And now, and you told me what the rankings are, so I already know them, both of those schools are relatively high.
The top team in the league in the Big 12, they put Texas Tech at number 11. Nobody from the Big 12 in the top 10.
That's been kind of the bugaboo on the conference there. And the conference, I think, to a degree, has some more parity compared to some other conferences in that what held Texas Tech back from being probably a top 5 is they lost in Tempe. And because you had a decent quarterback, you had an NFL receiver who was healthy that day, and I mean, he was banged up a lot of the time last year.
Yep. But Jordan Tyson was really good when he was healthy, and he's healthy that day, and he's really good.
Yeah. And so that reminds me of the old Pac-10/12. You had Oregon that time was really good, and they go to Tempe the next to last week of the season, and Daniels throws a big bomb to Ayuk, NFL quarterback, NFL receiver. They're not really that good week to week, but they've got talent, and so you don't really see that necessarily in some of the other conferences. Big 10 seems to be extremely top-heavy. The Big 12 is good, but it's not necessarily top-heavy. Now, it can go a long way towards BYU starting undefeated, including a win over Notre Dame. That's best case scenario for the conference.
That'd vault you right up there.
Because you would have beaten Arizona along the way, and then a month later you go ahead and beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame probably has a good chance to come in undefeated also. So that game, is it 17th of October, I think? That has a chance to really be a big-time national game. And so you need those big-time national wins. And as a conference, you need it. You don't necessarily need it in basketball because you already have it. But in football, I think you need it. Like the Devils, I think in week 2 play Texas A&M. That would really help the conference if they win.
Yep. Future power ranking, Notre Dame, number 1.
Notre Dame.
Yes, according to ESPN.com.
Well, I think Notre Dame is like the Knicks. If the Knicks win, it's good for the NBA. If Notre Dame wins, you can't deny that it's good for college football. I could argue that it's great. It's actually the best scenario because of all the big dogs, they are the biggest dog.
The A&M opponent for ASU, you mentioned there, A&M is 9, Texas Tech's 11. They've got BYU at 15, and then Utah at 25. And after Utah, they basically lump a lot of Big 12 teams together that look like they're pretty good. And they throw them all in a hat just in case any of them take off. Well, we had them pretty high. We didn't have them that high if they overachieve, but we had them pretty high. Put the Utes at 25. Houston at 26, ASU at 27.
Oh, 3 in a row.
Ding, 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 ding. And not that far back, you've got TCU at 31 and Arizona at 32.
Yeah, see, those that's respectable.
Right. That's 5 teams. So you have the 2 teams at 11 and 15, and then you got teams 3 through 7, all between 25 and 32. So it goes to your point. Can the 6th or 7th best team in the Big Ten take down one of the big dogs?
Well, it did last year.
In the Big 12.
Yeah,
and in the Big 10, Indiana, right on through.
Right. The Big 12, I keep calling it the Big 12. The Big 10 reminds me of the end of the Mountain West. You had TCU, Utah, BYU.
Yep. And you were going to have Boise State. But before Boise State came in,
if you want it, yeah.
Utah,
and so you would have been really top-heavy.
Yeah.
And then maybe have San Diego State or Colorado State gets good, Air Force.
They have Ohio State.
But it's like, who's going to win between or among those schools?
Right. They have Ohio State, and they have Michigan, and they have Penn State. Those 3 always recognized and rarely go very poorly, although it did last year for Penn State for sure. And then they added Oregon, which is a comparison, Boise State coming in, right?
Yeah.
You added a 4th team that people are like, oh, yeah, I will stop and watch that game. I will watch that team. And then they've got some other people who've done it at some point. Maybe USC will do it here again
Michigan
shortly.
State.
Yeah, Michigan State and Wisconsin have had their time, but they're way down now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Indiana came along. Hello.
Yeah, maybe.
So they could have 5 big-time programs now.
Maybe
6 if USC could get in the mix.
Houston is Indiana, or maybe Texas Tech is Indiana.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't been that good.
Right.
They were good in Mike Leach, but then they were.
They weren't.
High mark was 8 wins until last year.
Yeah. All right, DJ and PK, you can read that ESPN.com, has all the rankings and all the thoughts on Morgan Scalley's first recruiting class and BYU's ability to sustain what they've done in the last 2 years. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. When we come back, RJ Young, national college football writer, analyst for Fox Sports, joins us to talk Big 12 football and what's next for Texas Tech. Stay with us.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.